Hello, everyone. It's Brenda Miller. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and I hold a quick class every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time to share with you some of the things that we've been working on, some Stampin' Up! Specials, things like that. And today we are at the very final episode of the templates that are on page 22 of the annual catalog. I'll show that to you in a second, but in that catalog, this is the first time we've featured any templates, and I've always used templates, or as I refer to them usually as sketches, to help me with my scrapbooking. However, same thing can be done for cards, and we have 22, and this is the 22nd episode that features templates. So you can see all of them on my YouTube channel, and I'll be creating a blog post with everything in it shortly. But for now, you can always just go hop over to YouTube or Facebook because that's where I have been recording these. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the final sketch. So let me just flip over to my desktop. Here we go. All right, so this is the sketch. I number it number 22. And let me just quickly bring out my catalog. You can even see how many times I've used this page. It's bookmarked with a sticky, and you can see that I have my catalog spiral bound for ease of use, and you can see it's even starting to rip out. But at the very bottom of the page, you can see all 22 of those sketches. So I went across. So here's 1, here's 11, here's 12, and here's 22. We're already all the way over there. So anyway, kind of sad to see the end of the series, but it's a good one. So here we have, again, template number 22. And if we look at some of the dimensions, now I didn't necessarily use them exactly this way, but the standard card front is 4¼ by 5½. And this background piece here is 3¼ by 5¼ or you could make it anything you want, but here we have 2 inches by 1¾ inches, and that is the same here, 2 by 1¾ and then this strip is going to be the width and the length of your sentiment. So I'm going to say it's about 1/2 inch by about 3 inches or so, maybe 3½. But it all depends on your sentiment. So that is how we are going to work with this template. So let me show you. I'm going to start with just a really quick and easy card going from the template. It's pretty boring though, huh? But it is a quick Happy Holidays card. So if you need a bunch just to hand out with your maybe a little gift card, or you just want to say hey to people who help you in any way, shape, or form, and you want something simpler, this card would be great. You could substitute any colors and any designer series paper. You could also stamp. You could stamp the background. You can make this background. You could emboss it, dry emboss it. You can go as crazy or as simple as you want. And so you can see on this one, I went the ultimate simple way. This is the Take a Bow or Take a Bow designer series paper. It's 6 by 6. It has nice small patterns because we're using a very small piece, relatively speaking. So again, it's 2 by 1¾ and that's pretty tiny. And if you use something bigger, it's hard to get the whole image or the effect of the whole image. So I like the idea of the 6 by 6 papers from that regard, especially the Take a Bow or Take a Bow. I never know which way to call it. And then for this sentiment, just let me show you. I used Greetings of the Season. I love this set because I can use, it has both script and regular, and of course you can mix and match them, but I love that I can just get a quick Happy Holidays just by putting the two of them together. I actually put them on one little block and stamped it all at once. I was able to get it all lined up beforehand, and it worked out pretty nicely. So that is the first card. So I'm not going to do this one again because you get the idea. Just making sure that you can use your different designer series papers and you can go crazy. So, oh, I wanted to show you these gems because I haven't shown them before. Check these out. Look at these great colors. They are metallic. They are called adhesive back metallic gems. Kind of obvious. And they come in the big and the small. And we have, I guess this is like brass and gold and silver. And they are not so nice because they're a little shimmery, right? So they're not quite rhinestones. They are definitely gems, so they're a little bit flatter, but they can really just perk up a card. And so this card obviously was very plain, just added a few little gems, and it just says, hey, something a little bit happy. So that is what those gems are. But let's go over to the card that I wanted to feature today. And I am using the Nest of Nature Suite. Nest of Winter Suite, sorry. Nest of Winter Suite. And this is what it looks like on page 31 of the mini catalog, or the holiday catalog. And you can see that it has a stamp set. It has this great embossing folder, which I've used a bunch of times, lots of fabulous dies. I've used this a number of different times, but just to point out some of the different things. But it has this great designer series paper, and I've been using a lot of this, and that is what I'm going to use on this card, along with these cute little earth tones shimmer gems, which I have not used enough of, but they are very pretty. So anyway, let's go ahead and take the card, and I'll show you the designer series paper I decided to use. I thought these birch trees with the little birds on them would make a perfect background. And so I cut a piece 3 1/4 by 5 1/4, and I looked at the colors in it and I said, well, what colors should I bring out? And I really wanted to keep it kind of neutral. So I went with this, which is gray granite. So kind of an odd color to use with this combination, but I thought, hey, let's go with that and give it a try. And I really like the way that it came out. So I'm just folding it in half, and as I always do, I like to put a piece of basic white cardstock on the inside. That it was the best color for this particular combination. So here we go. We've got this on the inside. Okay, great. And so I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on the outside. You see that by cutting it 3 1/4 inches wide, it leaves that nice border on each side. So just a little bit different from what I normally do. As you all know, I'm kind of symmetrical and I tend to lean that way, but it does add interest to do it a little differently. And by being 5 1/4, it also allows for a little edging on the top and the bottom. So here we go. So then what I did is I took my designer series paper sheet that looks like this, and it has all these little birds on it. And I've been hoarding the sheet. I didn't know exactly what to do with it. I'm not a fussy cutter, so I was not about to start fussy cutting out these little birds. And of course, the dies go with different sheets, which is fine. But what I decided to do was grab my square, and this square is from the Stylish Shapes die set that we have. It's in the main catalog. And I said, oh, look, we can like frame out a few of these. Now you have to be careful because they are kind of close together, and I had to experiment, and I'll probably cut out 1 or 2 more from this half sheet. This is a 6 by 12 sheet. I had unfortunately cut the other side. I said, oh, let me just do 3 inches, and that was not quite enough to work for me. So here we go. So you can see that that's what I used to die cut out some of the birds. And so here we have them. Look how sweet they look, right? And now these have enough of a neutral background, I thought, to make them pop up a little bit and out, and so that you could actually see them with this busier background. So I thought, oh boy, this is fabulous. So I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of each of these squares. And I'm just going to use 2 on each just to place them. One of the other things I absolutely love about this template is that they're at a jaunty angle. Oh, you know how I love me a jaunty angle. So here's one at a jaunty angle, and then I will get the other cute little bird and put him on the bottom at a jaunty angle. So just love the word jaunty, right? You all know that. Okay, so we've got those. Now I'm putting these a little closer together because these squares are a little bit bigger than what is shown. It's definitely, these are more like 2¼ by 2¼ just so that you know. So a little bit bigger than these. I'll show you. So a little more vertical. So they're probably more like 2 by 2 actually, as opposed to 2 by 1¾ Anyway, so here we go. We've got them on there. And then I wanted to put a sentiment on here. Now I chose to use the sentiment from the stamp set. Here's the stamp set, Winterly Treetops. And you could, of course, always use something for Christmas because this definitely, with the holly berries, definitely yells Christmas. So you could certainly do that. So that Happy Holidays that I used on the last card would work too. But I decided just to keep it a thinking of you card, thinking of you always. And when I took it out, you'll see that it is a little bit too big for a 1/2 inch. So I cut some strips that are, these are 3/4 of an inch wide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it using some shaded spruce because that is the color of some of the leaves on here. And I'm just going to stamp it pretty much in the middle so that I can see and trim as I need to. So let me see, I forget, this is kind of a little bit awkward with that phone in my face. Okay, well, okay, I'm going to do that one more time. Because I don't love the way that looks. All right. So let's see, is that better? Oh yeah, that's a little bit straighter. So there you go. So you see that I probably could have done it more like 5/8 of an inch, but I think this will work fine. So I definitely want to trim on an angle, just like they had on the sketch. Of course, you don't have to. So I'm going to trim it kind of close, but not too close. And then I'm going to eyeball it. And you see that when I put it on here, I want to make sure I see that I'm covering some things up. I might have wanted to do it a little differently, but I want this to be more, the words more in the center. Now I probably shouldn't have trimmed it quite that far, but I'm going to then just cut the edge over here. So you see, it's a very forgiving process. That you can just adjust it to whatever it is that you need. So when I go to put this on, since these are already popped up, just like I've done in previous videos, I'm just going to take a dimensional. I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put just some regular adhesive, some snail there, so that it can stick to the parts that are already sticking up. It's always good if you peel off the backing. All right, so we're going to put that on here just like this. And you can, of course, arrange it differently if you want. So there you go. That's a sweet little card. And then we're going to take those gems that I was talking about. So these are the earth tone shimmer gems. And you see that they shimmer. They're the same as our purple shimmer gems, which I cannot get enough of. And I'm going to go ahead and use these because they're kind of the shaded spruce match. And I'm going to just add them. Let me get my other tip and pick up my gems, and I'm just going to create my visual triangle. So I've got 2 there, and then for the bottom one, instead of putting it all the way at the bottom, I mean, I guess I could put it here. All right, I'm going to put it here. There we go. So just a little bit different. I always like to use 3, 1 big, 2 little, when I can. Sometimes 2 big, 1 little. But that is my sweet little card, thinking of you always, to go with my little Happy Holidays card. So, as I mentioned, this is the final template that is on page 22. However, the holiday catalog has some templates. Some of them are tags, which I love to use to add to a card front because I don't use a lot of tags in general, but I will be using some of those templates. I don't think I'll use all of them, but I know in our new catalog, which is coming out in January, that there will be more sketches, and I'm looking forward to using those as well. So I'm just going to continue the series, but this is the last one in the 2024-2025 annual catalog. So I hope you've enjoyed going through them. And if you have any comments, I'd love to hear them. So please feel free to put them in the comment section on Facebook or YouTube, or shoot me an email. That sounds good too. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next week with something different. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.